has done it quite a bit as well. We're now joined by John Gallagher, the head basketball coach at Hartford. He is on a train. And so you talk about commitment to us. That's from him. Coach Gallagher joins us. Where are you going?
I was down at UCLA's practice with Mick Cronin and just heading back to Hartford.
Okay. Now, what happened to Baylor? We got to start with that, then we're going to get into the Sweet 16 because they obviously, you know, that incredible comeback, but it did not seem like who they were for 30 minutes.
You know, it was one of the most – I was in a game like that too, down 26, and we actually took the lead and ended up losing in double overtime. John Feinstein wrote about it in his book. But what I would say to you is Baylor really showed such resiliency and such toughness. And it's, you know, I such a credit to Scott Drew. If you're going to go out, you don't want to go out losing by 25 3-year run that they had. And the way they went out was just valiant, their hearts and their souls out there. It is such a sign of a great coach. When you're down 25 and you come back and you're a play away from winning it, I really tip my hat to Scott and his staff.
What did you think of Jeremy Sohan deciding that the way to help get back in this game was to get square in the heads of particularly Brady Manick and Andrew Bacot?
Well, intensity, like when you're in a desperate mode as a player and a program, there's no thought. And I thought watching Baylor in that game, they were overthinking everything for 30 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Like everything was just, you could see them thinking out there. And that doesn't benefit you when you overthink in basketball. It's not a good thing. So I just love how they just kept coming and coming and coming. And it's just it's a great sign for a program, and you guys should be really proud.
Coach, tonight, here in about an hour, actually, the first game will get tipped off. 4-seeded Arkansas out of the SEC and 1-seed Gonzaga in that West region. What are your thoughts on the Zags, one of the top seeds, taking on these Razorbacks?
You know, I was, I guess it was Monday night. I had a 20-minute call with you. He called me at midnight, and he's like, "Are you up?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm up." But listen, I think Gonzaga, they've been shooting foul shots weird. They've shot 53%. I think this is a game that's a good matchup for them. I think Arkansas is really good. Musselman's done a job, but I just think Gonzaga got through the really hard game with Memphis. I think that was a grade 8 game, and they presented Gonzaga with the biggest upfront size. There was an issue, and I just think Gonzaga right now is poised to win this game.
What are your thoughts about Duke and Texas Tech?
Wow, what a game this is going to be. It's probably the game of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, like, if you study defense like I study defense, and you study offense, it's going to be really interesting to see how Duke attacks Texas Tech. And you guys are really familiar with Texas schemes. You're dealing with one of the schemes. Well, so honestly, you know, Texas Tech has tough guys, and obviously Banchero's a handful. And you're looking, like in my mind, the kid Williams for Duke, the big kid in the middle, is the X factor in the game. He's been playing great as of late. If the game's in the 50s, 60s, favor Texas Tech. If the game gets in the 70s, favor Duke.
One of the tightest matchups is probably going to be Kansas and Providence. Those teams, Providence has been great all year. Ed Cooley, very clear in his press conference, he's afraid of no man out there and very geared up for this. How do you see that one playing out, especially given Remy Martin's new contribution on offense to Kansas, which they didn't have that all year?
Well, first I want to talk about Ed. He fears no man on the golf course either. I golfed with him this summer. The guy's a scratch golfer. I mean, dude, when I got done golfing with him, James Jones from Yale and Mike Martin from Brown, I turned to Mike and James. I said, dude, I wish I had his game. How does he? I mean, his swing is just unbelievable. Literally, he's a scratch golfer. His attitude is why Providence is so good. And, I don't care who you are, attitude, really, really. And look, Kansas is a handful, but Providence wins close games. And Ed has it in his players. The belief of his players is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So that could be a phenomenal game, too.
Coach, Kelvin Sampson's got the Cougs back in a deep run in the tournament as a 5 seed. They've got the number one ranked Arizona, or number 1 seed Arizona Wildcats tonight. Just your thoughts. Houston losing a couple key players along the way, just fighting, scratching, clawing, and the job Kelvin Sampson's done, but what he's also running into tonight against the Wildcats.
Most interesting matchup for me because Kelvin has this team playing. They really reinvented themselves after the 2 injuries in January or February. One was in December, one was in January. Reinvent themselves. If you look at Arizona, the way they play and the way they really compete, I think they're just a team that, they're averaging 20 assists a game, guys. Think about that for a second. The way they share the ball and the pace they play at. And then I think, the offensive glass is going to be an issue for both teams. Obviously, Houston averages 13. Arizona's at 11. Second chance points. Circle that down in a game like this. Who's doing the fundamental things of blocking out? And I think it's a huge thing.
Your thoughts about Jawan Howard, who obviously found himself in a very big drama and on the wrong side of a story, and the fact they've been able to battle to get to the Sweet 16?
Well, I first off, you got to credit my college coach, Phil Martelli, for getting him in the tournament. He got him in the tournament. Whatever his bonus is needs to be double. Okay? And, Michigan's got to find a way to treat him the right way. Think about that. They got 5 games left. They're sitting, as Lenardi said, on outside the bubble, and they had huge wins. Huge wins. And I think still got them in there. Obviously, Brooks is a handful. Dick are the because I.
Okay, John, we lost you there for a second.
No one knows Villanova basketball. I said no one knows Villanova basketball better than Phil Martelli. No one.
Wow.
No one.
That means that's a good. All right, one more thing about your buddy Shaheen Holloway at St. Peter's and the run they continue to make. Does Cinderella slipper fall off tonight? Or tomorrow night against Purdue?
Yes. Unfortunately, yes. I hope not. I'm rooting for them. But Purdue's too big, too physical. UCLA practice, and I said this to Mick after practice, the physicality that UCLA plays with. And you know what he responded? He said, North Carolina and Purdue both are big and physical like this. And I'm just telling you, stay in this game tomorrow night has got to make shots, and the pace of play's got to slow down. But I just think Purdue has too much. But I'm rooting for St. Pete.
One more thing, John, and we know you're on the train, and thank you for being committed to being a part of it. Gonzaga, Arizona, or Kansas, among the number 1 seeds, are playing 4-4 and a 5. Which of them is the most vulnerable in your opinion?
Kansas.
Because of what you mentioned with Phil Martelli.
No, Kansas to me, with So when you get into a situation like this and you're playing a Providence team, guys, Providence committee is old, and they now, ready for this, they felt the pressure in the first two. They had to win. And guess what? They got through it. Now they're playing with house money. Right. Anytime Ed Cooley plays with a house money, look out. Look out.
Yeah, and again, I can't believe he's a scratch golfer. I saw where he was actually a volunteer or like an honorary chairman for the U.S. Senior Open one time. So he is. I mentioned Martelli. That's the Villanova game with Michigan, not the one with Kansas and Providence. Thanks a lot, John.
Yeah, I think Villanova. Let me just say this. I think with Villanova, Gillespie's the best point guard left in the tournament, and you're going to have to do everything to beat them. You follow me? You're going to. I think Villanova is the most fundamentally sound team. I've been doing a lot of studying, and fascinates me. I could spend 20 minutes just talking about how they never, ever, ever jump off of 1 foot. Everything's 2 feet. The fundamentals that Villanova play with, they're not going to turn the ball over. They're going to be rock solid on defense. I think Villanova is going to be a really hard out.
And they gave Baylor the hardest time in the tournament last year, with all due respect to the first few minutes in the first half with Hartford.
They gave him, if you remember the game, it was a little scary until they had those 2 consecutive turnovers.
Yep.
Game. You remember the back-to-back turnovers Villanova had? And then made Baylor last year, if you had 2 consecutive turnovers, they made you pay every single time. And I think that's the difference right now. Villanova is not making those turnovers because Gillespie's not hurt.
Thank you. Appreciate it. John, good luck. Be careful on your trip back. Be safe. Thanks for your time.
Hey, guys, you are the greatest, and we're on for next week.
Yeah. Oh, great. We'll be able to set up the Final Four. John Gallagher, our guy, our man, when it comes to Hartford basketball, but also college basketball, breaking it down. And one of the great things about, again, this show launching when we did, getting to know so many people that we didn't know before, and one of them, John Gallagher, because they opened with Baylor last year to start the tournament. All right, when we come back, we'll have